right, joining me now is the newest member of the UFC featherweight division after a sensational jumping knee knockout win over Terrence McKinney on Dana White's Contender series earlier this week. He lived up to his sniper nickname in a big way. Welcome to the UFC, Sean Woodson. Sean, congratulations. How are you?
Thank you, man. I'm doing great. I'm feeling top of the world right now.
It was an incredible finish to that fight. How does it all feel less than 48 hours later? Does it seem real to you at this point that you're in the UFC?
No, man, it really doesn't, to be honest. It feels like I'm still dreaming. It's a dream come true, but yeah, it doesn't even feel real.
You spoke to the media after the fight and discussed how you had to cut 24 pounds to get to the limit because you took the fight on 5 days' notice. Talk about how the opportunity came to be and how you found out about the fight.
Well, I was just sitting at home playing my Xbox, like I normally do after training, minding my business, and I looked down and I had a bunch of missed phone calls, FaceTime calls, text messages, all from my manager. And he keeps in contact with me all the time, but he just never hit me up that many times back to back like that. So yeah, I knew that instant that it was something serious. I had a feeling it was UFC, and yeah, so I hit him back. He told me what it was, and I knew I had a ton of weight to cut, but, I didn't hesitate in saying yes. I told him yes right away before I even knew I could make the weight, honestly. I wanted to jump all over this opportunity, and, yeah, we got it done.
With all the weight to cut, I'm sure a lot of that time was spent on the weight cut and getting down to 145. What were those 5 days like leading into that fight? Was that like the craziest time of your MMA career?
Oh, hands down, man. It's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, man. It's a miracle that I was even able to get it done. Right away, right off the bat, I basically had to go strict keto, no carbs. So that had me feeling pretty drained. And then, yeah, it was just a huge water cut. The most weight I've ever cut in my life. And it was just extremely draining. I wasn't, and it was mentally taxing too, because, I had all this weight to cut. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, man, after you cut all this weight, you're still going to have to go out here and deal with a collegiate level wrestler, who's going to put that pressure on you and, really test my cardio. And it was just a mental battle, physical battle. And, it was just a huge thing I had to overcome. And I'm super glad I did.
I was just going to ask if you knew much about Terrence when you got the call. And if not, like, how much time did you and your team have to really look into him?
No, I didn't know anything about him when I got the call. I was at a point where it didn't matter the opponent. Just whenever I got that UFC opportunity, I was going to jump on it no matter what the opponent was. I train every day to take on the best in the world. When I would have these regional fights coming up, I wasn't training for those opponents. I was training to take on UFC level guys. And so, yeah, I was ready and prepared for them.
It was a tough first round for you because you were locked in that body triangle for most of it, trying to avoid submissions, and you did a really great job defending everything, but you were able to stay really calm throughout that whole scenario. How key was that for you, headed into the second round? Because it seemed like to be a big theme for the night on the Contender Series. One guy with a dominant round, looking for a finish, unable to do so. The opponent's able to stay calm and defend, and it turned around not long after that. How pivotal was staying calm in that moment for you?
Yeah, we were talking about that in the back locker room. We're like, there's a theme going on tonight. These guys were getting out grappled real bad in the first round and then turning the whole entire fight around. That was staying calm is always a huge part of my game. When you're in there, I feel like a lot of guys, let the moment get the best of them, or, if they're in a bad spot, they may panic. And that's when, you might make some huge mistakes when you're panicking and make the wrong moves, and you just, go further and further into, the hole of doing bad. And so, yeah, I just stayed calm because, I'm in that position all the time. My head coach is a black belt, and he's on my back every day, and I'm fighting off his rear naked chokes all the time. So, yeah, when Terrence got on my back and he was trying to sink in that choke, I was extremely confident that I was going to be able to weather the storm and fight that off and defend it the whole time. I felt him using every ounce of energy he had into trying to finish that choke. And to be honest, I could have probably worked a little bit harder to get out of that body triangle and get up, but I felt him using way more energy than I was. And I just felt like I was in a good spot. Even though it looked like I was in a bad spot, I felt like I was in a good spot. I was saving my energy while he was using his, and I was just saving my energy until I had my window of opportunity. And I knew when I got that I was going to jump all over him.
Yeah, it was funny you say that, because second round begins. He shoots for a couple of takedowns. You sprawl the first time. You sprawl the second time. Beautiful sprawls. And then he takes your back after the second sprawl. and then you were able to scramble and get back to your feet. And to me, I was like, oh boy, this may not end well for Terrence, because I could see the confidence in your face change at that point. Is it fair to say that's when the momentum of that fight completely changed in your eyes? That, what was going through your mind? Did your confidence feel like it was growing even more once you were able to get back to your feet in the second round?
Yes, sir. After he got me down the few times that he did, the way he was, relentlessly shooting in over and over again and not really setting it up, I was confident that after he got me down that last time, I knew that the next time I got back to my feet, I was going to end the fight. I knew the next time I got back to my feet, I was going to throw that flying knee, and that if that didn't work, though, I was confident that I was going to keep the fight standing, because I didn't have to, really worry about him trying to disguise his takedowns. He was just going to just come forward and just shoot his shot every time. So, I knew the next time I got to my feet, he wasn't going to get me back down.
Of course, the jumping knee that everybody was talking about, just beautiful. It was right over then and there. You knew it. You spoke to the media afterwards, and you had said that knee was inspired by Jorge Masvidal's knockout of Ben Askren. Is that true?
That's, dude, so true. That dude is my favorite fighter, man. I've been a fan of his since day one, and seeing him do that to Ben Askren, that was my happiest moment as a fight fan, man. I went crazy that night, and I had it set in my mind. I'm like, man, I'm gonna be busting that out from here on out on any time I get into a fight.
Is that something you worked on before that, and then that just kind of made you want to work on it more, or did you start really working on it after UFC 239?
Yeah, that's something I've always played around with and used from time to time. It's a dangerous move to use in the training room. I don't want to hurt my training partners. Even with knee pads, it's still pretty dangerous. So I use it I've used it from time to time. But after that knockout, man, I was like, I want to make this sharp. I want to make this a good tool in my tool bag.
It's super sneaky too, because like with Masvidal, I was like, it was like watching a cartoon superhero movie. He just like sprints and you see like lightning bolts behind him. You were just like so sneaky about it. You just stood there and then you just jumped and nailed him with it. How long, like, did you know it right then and there? Like as soon as you hit it, it was over? Like walk us through that.
Yeah. It's the moment it landed, I knew it was over. Well, leading up to the fight, when I was planning on using it, I kind of figured that he, because the Masvidal knockout was so fresh, I kind of figured that he might even have been, kind of weary and looking for that as well. So I didn't want to sprint directly at him like Masvidal did, because I think that would have gave it away. So that's why I kind of just, plowed forward a little bit and, didn't act like I was really up to anything much. And then when I got close enough to make my leap, I exploded into it.
It was beautiful. You get your hand raised, and then you go and have your interview after the fight. Everything that happened, man, the big weight cut, scrambling around to get ready, getting a finish. You're soon to find out whether or not you made the roster. And of course, leading into the fight, the story came to light about you losing your dad and how much he meant to you and how much he motivated you to be the best fighter in the world, to achieve your dreams. It was a really raw moment, listening to you talk to Laura Sanko. I had a few tears in my eyes myself. I'm not afraid to say that. But were you thinking, damn you, Laura Sanko, I just won this fight. I have all this going on. How dare you make me cry? Jokingly, of course.
Yeah, I really was, man. I was all week, man. I was like, damn, these UFC people are good. When I was going into my interview with them, in any interview leading up to a fight, I feel like that's a point that people will always bring up, and I always try to prepare myself for it. I'm like, they're not going to get me. I don't like to feel like I'm reaching for feelings or like trying to use that to my advantage. I don't really like talking about it much. But, man, the UFC interview people, they got me, man. They had me crying in there. And the moment I was walking back to talk to Laura Sanko, I told her before I even got on camera, I said, I'm not even going to be able to talk. Like, I knew I felt it coming. And, it just really meant a lot to me to get that done and to know that he's watching down on me and seeing that.
So when you go back to the winner's circle, the winner's lounge there, you're sitting in your little director's chair and you're waiting for Dana White to come out and talk to Laura Sanko and make his decision. What are those moments like for you? Like, what's going through your mind as you're just playing the waiting game at this point?
Well, after that huge weight cut and after just, everything I went through that week, it was extremely hard, and I was just happy to go out there and get the win, honestly, and me being 5-0, if Dana White wouldn't have gave me that, I know for a fact I'm ready for every featherweight in the featherweight division, But if Dana didn't see that at that moment and, didn't give me that contract, I wouldn't have been, completely crushed. You know what I'm saying? I took this on short notice. I was only 5-0. And, yeah, my main focus was just to go out there and get the win, to make weight and to go out there and get the win. And, yeah, just getting signed to the UFC, man, was a dream come true and just a huge, huge bonus.
I was in a group chat with a few friends of mine that were also watching the fight, and I'm texting back and forth, and they give you the contract, and Dana White's talking, and I see your face change at one point. It's like you know that it might come, but you're not sure. And I told him, I was like, like when it's Christmas time, you get all the presents, and you're so happy with everything, but like that one present you didn't get, didn't show up, and then your mom's or your parents look at you and they say like, oh, what's that over there, behind the fence over there? And you open it up and you find out, man, like, I can't believe I got it. Is that how you felt, like, listening to Dana White talk?
Dude, that's the best way to describe it, man. That's exactly how I felt. When he first started off, I was like, yeah, he's just probably going to, give me some props and then, tell me I need to work on some things and, they'll see me back again someday or something like that. But then, yeah, he started, I heard him say he overcame adversity. He took it on short notice. And that was kind of building up, and I'm like, oh shit, he's about to really sign me to the UFC right now. And then after he started off kind of a little shaky, but midway through his speech, I knew I was gonna get signed.
Yeah, he was like, tough guy, great finish. Only had 5 fights in. He goes, but then he completely changed my mind, and I was like,
he played it off good.
He really did. It was very WWE of him. I loved it. After all that, he says your name, you earn that contract. You're 6-0. You're in the UFC. I don't really want to bring this up but fulfilling a piece of your father's wish for you, at least taking a big step forward, man. Like, what does that all mean to you?
Yeah, man, it's a dream come true, man. Like, I really, it's so hard to describe it. Like, it doesn't even feel real. But yeah, man, it's so hard to describe. It's a dream come true. It sounds so cliche, but like, this is literally, this has been my dream since I've been 8 years old. A lot of people grow up, and it changes for them. You might want to be a football player, and then it changed to, a basketball player or a rapper or something. Just a lot of people's dreams change over time, but my dreams have been the same since day one. I've been wanting to be a professional fighter. I've been wanting to be in the UFC since as far as I can remember, and now I'm here.
When do you want to make your debut? Do you have a time frame? Is there a certain card that's on the books that's kind of mapped out that makes sense for you, or does it even matter at this point?
I haven't really looked at the upcoming UFC schedule, the cards and stuff, but I'd like to get back in there October, November. I've talked to my manager, and he said that's what they're looking at, getting me back in action October, November. As far as opponent or where it's at, that really does not matter to me at all. I'm just excited to be with the best company in the world, and yeah, I'm just excited to get back out there and compete, man.
There's no filter here. You can say whatever you want,
okay,
man.
Okay.
You're all good. You're all good.
Okay, cool.
Sean Woodson joining us. Congratulations, the newest member of the UFC's featherweight division. What a performance on Tuesday night at the Contender Series. Before we let you go, man, let the folks know where they can follow along on this journey with you via social media. Any shout-outs, anything else you want to get off your chest, man? The floor is yours.
I just want to shout out everybody that supports me and believes in me back home and all over the world now, because I've had a ton of people reach out to me on Instagram. Go and follow me at Sean Woodson, MMA 92. And yeah, man, the love has been unreal. Thank you so much to everybody. I'm living out my dreams, and yeah, stay tuned. I'm gonna give this all I got, and I'm going for a championship.
You're in the UFC now. How's your Twitter game?
My Twitter game ain't that good, man. My social media game ain't that good. People have been hounding me about social media for so long. I just got Instagram not too long ago. Before this, I had like 400 followers, and now I'm approaching 2,000, and that's the coolest thing in the world to me. So yeah, I mainly post on Instagram and Facebook, but my Twitter is the same as my Instagram, Sean Woodson, MMA 92. I'm just not on it too much, but I'm definitely going to get on top of that now. So yeah, Instagram and Facebook is the best way to keep up with me.
All right, Sean, congratulations. Really appreciate the time. Kudos to you, and look forward to seeing your Octagon debut maybe in September or October.
Thank you, man. I appreciate the time.